When I was a kid, we knew the names of all of our suppliers and they knew ours. There was Jimmy the bread man, Teddy the milkman, and John the butcher, Mr. Heffernan the chemist, Miss Farrington the haberdasher, and Mr. Dowling the grocer. There was Dollar Daly, who ran the hardware store, and most importantly for us as kids, Jerry and Anna Lynn, who ran the sweet and ice cream shop. This was not rural Ireland in the early 60s. This was suburban Dublin. And we were a community. We stayed local, we shopped local, and kids were identifiably linked to their parents. Parents linked to other parents. There was little chance of getting lost or disappearing. We were all connected. Move on 50 plus years, and I'm back in a similar situation, though in a different city, in the time of COVID-19. The names are different. Michael the fruit and veg man, Martin the milkman, Victoria the bread woman, John D the butcher, the guys in Moran seafood, Kieran and Sawyers for the more indulgent moments. The list is growing. All of them leaving their goods on the doorstep and waving like disappearing relatives from the end of the path. Friends have a different set of suppliers. We are all growing relationships as the weeks of lockdown proceed. And if we all do as we say, we will, as we continue to live with COVID and shop local, our sense of connection will be better for it. I've always felt a bit uneasy about the giant supermarkets. Always that feeling gnawed away, that they were pulling the wool over my eyes, manipulating me psychologically with their tricks, their smoke and mirrors, shuffling the products around the store to induce me to spend more, seducing me to spend sometimes crazily. Profit was their primary driver, and no matter how much they said they did it all for me, the customer, I knew deep down it was the filthy lucre that propelled them forward, shortchanging their suppliers, wreaking havoc on growers, on communities, and on us, the homeless customers. I was never a big fan, and I'm glad to say that when, as I saw it, a line was crossed last year, I took a stand against the behemoth. It started in what I describe as the self-service corral, that area in large supermarkets where without any interview or selection process, we take on the role of part-time workers, unloading, scanning, paying, packing, until a computerized voice, barely keeping its irritation in check, chivies us along to speed up. No relationship or connection there. The problem was that my carton of eggs wouldn't scan. So I looked for one of those people who deserve a medal for their patience and who seem to go on automatic, stabbing their fingers at the checkout machine in a frenzied way, usually walking away without any eye contact at all. And who can blame them? No relationship there either. The eggs, however, still refused to scan. The problem, it seemed, was that the long number beside the barcode had not been properly entered, and so, to my jaw-dropping astonishment, I was instructed on how I should rectify the problem. A button with the words "Enter Code" was pointed out to me. My job description had just been extended. Sorry, I could hear it. Okay. I looked at the woman as respectfully as I could, shaking my head, clearly indicating that I wouldn't be doing that. Back home and without delay, I got the name of the store manager, we'll call him Archie, and proceeded to write to him. I laid out my stall. I was a customer, not an employee. I liked his store. I had been loyal, but on this I was not willing to move. I pointed out that there were 20 self-service tills and only 2 service tills in the store. I was not, I wrote, going to continue to support the increase of profits and the reduction of the workforce. Shopping should be about human contact, a social outing of sorts. I believed I said that self-service tills kill connection. And to this end, I told him I would now be using service tills only. Archie responded with the £20 voucher. Appreciating that I'd taken the time to write, and suggesting that he would consider my views, and offered, clearly having worked out somehow my age demographic, assistance in using his smart shop scanning option. He had completely missed the point. Intentionally, I think. And pointless as it might be, I felt one more letter forming. I do have to fess up at this stage that I did cash in the £20 voucher. A filthy look indeed. Prior to shooting off a final salvo, I returned to the store, and as I lined up at the service till, the trolley behind nudged me accidentally. Once the over-effusive apologies and acceptances fizzed out, I shared with this fellow customer woman my surprise that there was not a cucumber to be had in the store that day. We agreed it must be the hot weather. I've one in the fridge at home, she told me, a tad conspiratorially, to which I responded, what's your address? And quick as a flash, she said, you must be joking. I'm going home to put it on eBay. We laughed long and loud. I paid my bill and departed still laughing, and as I looked back, I saw that she was still laughing too. So when I did respond to Archie, informing him that he had entirely missed the various points that I was making, quelle surprise, I shared the story of the cucumber, the other customer, our exchange and connection. That, I said, was my main point. Connection is being lost in automation. Shopping should offer us the chance to connect. It should enhance and not diminish our lives. I'm not so naive as to think that my stand will in any way alter the strategy of these enormous supermarket giants. No matter what their expensive advertising campaign tell us, they're in the business of selling food only to make massive profits. End of. So back to COVID-19, this strange and extraordinary time and possible good outcomes. Back to the list of small suppliers that I'm getting to know slowly. Just the other day, having submitted my fruit and veg order to Michael, I realised that I had omitted the blueberries. So apologetically, I sent a follow-up email asking if they could be added. I think the response I got was no problem, Miriam, X. Cute, I thought. I think the X was an error or an automatic inclusion beside his name, but I'm going to go with the idea that it was intended and that Michael is going to know me by name as a valued and familiar customer with whom a connection can be made and human life and contact enhanced. So here's to a future as we manage our lives with the virus and aspire to hold onto some vague hope that good can emerge. At the start of it all, I heard someone talk about us living in the shelter of one another rather than in the shadow, and I like that. All of us small people will have to work very hard, though, to create opportunities out of this vast crisis, making decisions and better choices for how we live within our communities locally and safely. Because as Shirley Chisholm, a Black American activist, warned ominously, when morality comes up against profit, it is seldom that profit loses.
Very much, Miriam. Very much, Miriam. That was magnificent. Great to hear it. I was delighted that you spent the £20 voucher.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we're all with you there. Wonderful. It's great to do. I remember one time I texted somebody and I put an X at the end of it, and it was a colleague at work, and then I had to really, really embarrassingly go back to them and tell them that I didn't actually mean to send a kiss to them at work. And then they wrote back saying that they wanted more kisses the next time. She thought it was hilarious, but I was mortified.
Well, knowing Michael the way I do, and I'm the way I'm getting to, I think it's probably fine, you know? I think we
Yeah.
Can I briefly butt in, Padraig? I remember once when I was going to work one Sunday morning and I was texting you a mixture of romance and theology, and I actually sent it to the press officer for the Sinn Féin.
That's fun.
And there was another time that I was texting a very, very amorous and absolutely not for public consumption text message of love to Paul, and I accidentally sent it to my father. But that's a story that I'll have to tell everybody another time because it does require a full 10 minutes.